Today you stand in a room full of light. You might have listened to some music earlier or watched a movie last Friday night with your friends. But we take a lot of these things for granted. Thomas Edison invented a lot of things. Some of his things we use a lot today. And one thing that he said was, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Perspiration means sweat, which means like 1% you have to have inspiration and 99% you have to want to work for it. Now, Thomas Edison had 1,093 patents throughout his lifetime. But today, 3 of his inventions we're going to talk about. 1, the phonograph, 2, the light bulb, and 3, motion picture. First is the phonograph. This was the first machine ever to produce sound, like from someone's voice, and play it back to him. Now, the phonograph, defined by Webster's Online Dictionary, is an instrument for producing sound, especially music. But whenever it first started out, it was just voices, and that was it. And how this thing worked was it would capture passages of Morse code as indentions on a piece of paper. And this machine right here is the first one ever built. And how it worked was tinfoil would go around the cylinder, and you would speak in to the hole and turn the little dial while speaking into it, and the needle would make indentions on the foil, and then on the other side the other needle would it would read it back to you, and then it would produce the sound on the other side. And after a while they figured out that the tinfoil would end up ripping a lot and it wouldn't be able to produce the sound anymore, so they turned it into a disc. And the first disc was a cylinder shape, and the indentions would be on the outside, just like wrapping the tinfoil in this. But then later on they switched to a disc like we have today, the circular disc with a hole in the center, and it would play like a CD does today. And the second invention is the incandescent light bulb. Now, he started out doing a whole bunch of filaments and experimenting with a whole bunch of different things to see which one lasts the longest. And he found out filament would, the platinum filament would be a good one, but it was too expensive, so he switched to a carbon-based platinum filament, and that would last up to 13.5 hours. But it was still kind of too expensive, but he just went with it, and he ended up presenting it to the Menlo Park Laboratory in California and got a patent for it. But after a while, about a year later, he found out that carbonized bamboo could last up to 1,200 hours. So him and his company started manufacturing lamps with carbonized bamboo as the filament. Now, the filament in this light bulb is, and every other light bulb, is the little part that's on the inside of the glass that whenever you turn on the power, it'll light up. It's the little wire on the top. And then the next invention is the motion picture, and he once said that I'm experimenting among an instrument which does for the eye what the photograph does for the ear. And this is kind of saying, like, this invention was kind of like the phonograph, and the phonograph was for sound, and so that associates with the ear, and this one associated with the eyes, making pictures move. And him and his co-workers, they made a machine called the strip kinograph, and this was just a little machine that had a little strip of pictures. It was a long flexible film wrapped around a wheel or a spool thing, and how they captured this the motion pictures was on a stage with an open roof, and they had to have an open roof because Edison's light bulbs weren't bright enough to make the stage light up to where they can have a good picture. But Edison, after this got out into the world, Edison didn't want to take all the credit because he felt like his workers needed some credit for it too. So yeah, and so me and everyone else and everyone in America pretty much takes technology for granted, and a lot of these things wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Thomas Edison and his hard work and inventions. And pretty much, if you want to learn anything else about Thomas Edison, you can visit the trademark office website. It has a lot of information about him, or you can take a personal visit to Thomas Edison's National Historic Park in New Jersey.